Many worthy goals, promising relationships, and terrific business ideas are ruined by the twin killers of success, impatience and greed. In the previous Motivation Moment, I discussed impatience. This week, we're talking about greed. Now let's start with what greed is not. Greed is not the admirable desire to have things better this year than you did last. It's not wrong to want to have a better education or a better job or greater wealth or a nicer home, if you're willing to earn them with integrity and self-discipline. You see, that's not greed, that's personal growth. And that kind of individual or family development is commended, I think, in nearly every society. Greed, on the other hand, is the selfish desire to acquire wealth and possessions or authority at the expense of someone else. For instance, a man who buys a new set of golf clubs when his children need shoes, well, he's greedy. Or someone who lies about a fellow worker just to get a promotion is greedy. Perhaps the best example of greed in our modern society is the convicted former CEO of the Enron Corporation, the late Kenneth Lay. He was found guilty of fraud and conspiracy charges in one of the biggest corporate scandals in U.S. history. And yet, he maintained his innocence until he died. After his guilty verdict, he continued to protest his innocence, even though the evidence presented during his trial was overwhelming, and it exposed a man of wretched material excess that included $100 million in personal debt. And yet, Lay defended his outrageous lifestyle by saying, well, it was difficult to turn off that lifestyle like a spigot. Now, please don't click your tongue at me and give me some self-righteous outrage about the evil rich, because by golly, you don't have to be the CEO of a major corporation to suffer from greed. Well, you can be the poorest of the poor and be as greedy and gluttonous and insatiable as any wealthy CEO. It's a universal human problem, and that's why the Catholic Church lists greed as one of the 7 deadly sins. The consequences of greed are nasty. Well, you're mean and exasperated and nothing satisfied and everything annoys, and there's jealousy and weariness, and well, I think that's just the beginning. And if it goes unchecked, it can lead to criminal activity, as in the case of Kenneth Lay and many others that you know about. But also, I just want to reiterate that it's just not a problem of CEOs. Do you know there's a rash of shoplifting problems at Walmart stores? Let me tell you what, it's not the corporate big boys and the CEO with the high salaries that are walking around Walmart and stealing $9 t-shirts. You see? Greed affects everybody. The great psychologist Erich Fromm warned, greed is a bottomless pit which exhausts the person in an endless effort to satisfy the need without ever reaching satisfaction. I know most of us don't consider ourselves greedy, but don't you agree that it is often difficult to make a distinction between need and greed? And you and I, we need to look carefully at our own personal motives for the accumulation of more stuff and for the reaching for more power, lest unchecked greed causes us to fall into our own bottomless pit and we never reach satisfaction. This is Ron Ross, the Mile High Motivator, coming to you from my home office in Denver, Colorado. I'll see you next time for the next edition of Motivation Moment.